You're listening to The Tales We Tell, a podcast about spooky stories, unsolved mysteries, and local lore. I'm your host, Hannah Parch.
And I'm Katy.
Welcome back. We will be eating during this episode, as we already are.
We've got charcuterie.
We do, and we have wine. And then we have other snacks that we will be getting into. My first announcement is literally an explanation of last week.
Starts with a C and ends with an Ovid.
Yeah. We both got the COVID. Had the COVID. Don't currently have it. Which I hated to say, like, oh, good, when you told me that you had it. But I told Jarek, I was like, because I truly just, like, I mean, I was home for, a couple days, and it kicked my butt for a few days. But I told her, I was like, I can't do an episode. I'm just tired. Like, I'm just tired all the time, and, like, I can't do it. And, like, technically, Sunday would have been, like, the last day of my quarantine. And I was like, I mean, I know Katie's been living with a COVID patient. Like, it doesn't really matter. But when I texted you, and you're like, it's fine, I got it, too. I was like, oh, good! I mean, not good. How are you feeling?
The ironic thing is I probably had it the entire week already.
Yeah.
That Shelton was sick. I might have actually had it before, too, because I felt worse the week before and the week that Shelton was sick than I did when I tested positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so meanwhile, I threw the Halloween party, and even though I feel like I phoned it in, I think it still was...
It was great.
It was successful. Everyone had a lot of fun, stayed for a long time. But I felt, tired and kind of miserable the whole day setting up for it. And then, the next day I was still exhausted. And that was when Shelton tested positive. So that's when I was full-time mom, basically taking care of two babies because, Shelton was a big baby. Everything hurts. My bones hurt.
Oh, I mean, my bones also hurt, but...
Yeah. But so did mine. But I'm like, my bones always hurt.
I was going to say, when do your bones not hurt?
I've been kind of like weirdly queasy for a week now. So what is just another week of it? And I'm always tired and I'm always congested.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think anything of it other than, wow, I'm working really hard, taking care of, I'm working, taking care of Walker full time, even when Shelton was home and, had the days off and everything. And I'm taking care of him where I can. Who's taking care of me? Because I feel freaking terrible. And so I'm doing all this stuff. I'm working double time. Meanwhile, I had COVID the whole time, too, I'm sure. So he got to be on the couch all day, every day for a week, and I get no sick days.
I was going to say, is it hard to distinguish between... Because the one thing I noticed, because of course, right before... 2 weeks before I got it, I was bragging about how great my immune system was and how I never get sick. And the one thing I did notice the day before I tested positive, that I was just very tired, just at work, which now my work is like barely anything. I was just like really tired all the time. And then like while I was sick, I was like, I texted you that thing about I took a shower and I was like exhausted. Now that you're a mom and you have a mobile child that's running around, I feel like it would be hard for you to distinguish, are you regular tired or are you COVID tired? Like, am I tired because I'm single momming it or am I tired because I have an infection?
Yeah, I actually,
or a virus.
For like those 2 weeks where I was kind of queasy too, I was just thinking, that's just, I've got some congestion and it's just the drainage dripping down, at night while I sleep. And that's why I'm a little queasy in the mornings. It is weird that it goes away after a while and then kind of comes back, and I've still been feeling queasy multiple times throughout the day. And I was like, man, if I didn't know any better, I think I was pregnant because I just felt miserable. Yeah. I was tired. I was queasy. I just, it was bad. And I was like, there's no way that I'm pregnant, but man, I really kind of feel like it. And, then COVID actually made a lot of sense. Yeah. But yeah, no, that was definitely, it's hard to tell when you're in it, but looking back, I'm like, no, that was not normal tired. That was sick tired. This right now is normal tired. This is, I worked 14 hours yesterday at an event and take care of my dad and my baby.
Ugh.
And then, got home late.
Yeah.
And then got up early to take care of the baby all day and hang out with my dad, who's in town right now.
Yay. So, well, I accidentally went to bed at like 8:30 last night.
No, that's become my normal bedtime now. Like, the kid is usually in bed at 8.
Yeah. Maybe, well, I don't know. I was in Raleigh with my parents over the weekend, and I went to the NC State Boston College game, which was awful, and got a headache, of course. Mm-hmm. I think before the game started. But it got worse, like, towards the end, which, of course, the end of the game was the worst part of the game.
There's probably a whole bunch of noise and...
Oh, my God. Oh, I don't know if you knew. We had the offensive coordinator just in our section. Shocking. He looked like a fan, but I promise he was the new offensive coordinator, obviously. I'm joking, if no one can tell. I hate our fans. Anyways, I had a headache. I didn't feel great, and it was late. It was a 3:30 game, so it was late when we got out. It took forever to get home. And my parents live, like, 2 miles from the stadium. Anyways, we finally got home, and I was like, I'm just going to go lay down for, like, a minute. And it's, like, 8:15. So Jarek lets Kelly out, and I, like, changed, and I laid down in the bed, which was my first mistake. And I set an alarm, and I was like, Jarek, just come check on me in 30 minutes. I'm just going to lay down. And he was like, I'm going to go get food. And I was like, okay, just come check on me in 30 minutes. And then I woke up and it was morning. And I was like, oh, I feel great now. My headache's gone. My mascara is caked to my face.
Clearly, other than the mascara thing, your body needed
yes.
it.
Yes. So, anyway. All that to be said. Oh, go ahead.
I have a video for you.
Oh, okay. Is it? Okay,
it's
sorry.
It's a critter video.
Oh, great. I was going to say, I have a video too, but it's probably not as cute as yours.
Okay, so yesterday, baby had his first tostone, so he had fried plantains, and since I prefer them, like, nice and flat and crispy, but these were less flat and a little mushy with their crispiness, so he, for mine is an evil laugh.
I thought that was coming from somewhere else. Looks like he's gonna take it out of his mouth for a second. Gives everyone the finger.
So for context, he was doing this every time I'd give him a little piece of tostone to chew on. So he's sitting there chewing on his plantain, and he hadn't decided if he liked it or not. So he just had this, like, very serious to kind of confusing, look, but he was basically giggling the whole time.
That's adorable.
It was great.
My video was just of at NC State. They have he's technically the bat dog for the Durham Bulls. So the dog that runs out and gets the bats. But he runs out and gets the tea after kickoff. And his name is Ripkin. And he's the goodest boy. And he's a black lab. And so
I've seen him before.
Oh my gosh. It was the best part of that horrible game is every kickoff he would run out onto the field and he'd go so fast he'd slide right past the tee and then he'd run back and get it. He's very cute.
Precious.
But anyways, that was all to say, everyone. Thank you for being patient with us because we were both dying last week, which is why we didn't have an episode. Unless you were a patron, in which case we did finally get Jarek to edit the bonus episode about the Chuman, or the human Z, or whatever we called it.
Man pansy.
Man pansy. We were planning on putting out the longer version of the Hillbilly Horror Stories. However, there was a technical glitch, and the longer version is lost forever.
Awesome.
So sorry. Only Katie and I know what happened in that.
And I only kind of know.
Yeah. And if you haven't, go find Hillbilly Horror Stories. They did a Halloween, I think it was their 5th annual Halloween special. I think we're like right at the start of hour 3 is when our story is. Jarek had to edit down 20 minutes of us talking into 10 minutes, and I listened to it. He had to cut out a whole story. He had to cut out the part about the woman at the gas station who got abducted. And so I was like, oh, great. Well, like, people will hear about that in this next one. No one will hear about it now. So, sorry, everyone.
She was okay.
She lived. She was fine. She was assaulted, but she lived. So, yeah, that's it for announcements. Are you ready for our episode?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, today I am going to tell you an unsolved mystery.
Woohoo!
That Katie knows because I gave her some edible clues. It has to do with
Japanese foods.
She
only gave me snack foods, though, so not like true Japanese cuisine or anything.
Okay, so this is about the Glico Morinaga case.
All right.
And I'm going to do my best, A, to pronounce everything correctly, and B, to make this story make sense, and also to tell all of the events in the correct order. It was very confusing online, and I think I got everything in the right order.
All right.
So if I didn't and someone recognizes that, just let me know, and I'll correct it. Okay.
Is it one of those probably lost in translation things on the resources, or?
I don't even know. I think there was just so much that happened. Like, the Wikipedia page has, I feel like, maybe 30% of what happened. But then I found a site that's, like, dedicated to it. And I was like, oh, this is so great. I'm getting so much. And then it got to a certain point and it was like, oh, look for part 2 in the future. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And it just stopped at a certain point. And then I found something else and it had a whole other chunk of information that happened like in between 2 things. But then Wikipedia had whole sections that were like, this doesn't have any sources. And I was like, well, I'm not going to put that in because that doesn't seem credible at all.
How was it even there in the first place?
Yeah, so I did my best. So the Izaki Glico Company, which is better known just as Glico, is a multinational food processing company based in Japan. Their website boasts, quote, healthier days, well-being for life. Their philosophy is a wholesome life in the best of taste. And they claim that glycogen extract found in oyster broth is used in their products to promote health. One of their best-known products is Pocky sticks.
Pocky!
What I purchased. And other various snacks / candies that are quote-unquote healthy. Although, those are from a different company.
I was about to say.
It comes in later.
Okay.
Those are from the Morinaga part of the story. I would say looking at those Pocky sticks that are dipped in
chocolate and
chocolate.
Well, almonds are good for you.
Yeah. I feel like Glico perhaps is doing the Chick-fil-A thing where it's like I feel like Chick-fil-A started where they're like, well, we use peanut oil for our waffle fries.
Therefore, it's healthy
so
fries.
They're healthier than McDonald's fries.
We have sweet potato fries, and those are healthy.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like Glico's doing that where they're like, well, we infused our food with glycogen, therefore it's good for you. And it's like, okay, there might be some good stuff in it, but it's also candy.
Is it glycogen or glycogen?
Oh, probably glycogen. I don't know.
Could be either way. I think I've just heard it glycogen.
Whatever.
Then again, the more we say it, the less correct either way sounds.
Whatever's in oyster broth. By the way, you're welcome to open the Pocky sticks whenever you want.
Let me know when you're ready, because I got, a few more bites of cheese here.
Oh, I'm ready whenever you are. We're going to be on Glico for a hot minute. Okay, so on March 18th, 1984, around 9 p.m.
That was Walker's due date.
Oh.
Not in 1984, though.
No. So on Walker's due date, in 1984, around 9 p.m., 2 armed, masked men broke into the home of 70-year-old Yoshi Izaki in Nishinomiya, which was a fairly affluent city located between Kobe and Osaka. They tied her up and stole the keys to her son's house, which was right next door. And her son happened to be the CEO of Glico, 42-year-old Katsuhisa Izaki. I have a picture of him.
All right.
I actually have a picture of his family. He has a very cute little family. Okay, tell me this is not the cutest family you have ever seen.
No, they are.
I know.
Look how happy. I love their big smiles.
Look at the little boy at the end of the table.
Mm-hmm. He looks like a little troublemaker.
I know. But like...
And the wife is so pretty.
I know.
And he just looks so happy and proud of his family.
I know. Just so cute.
You're building me up to be really upset in a second, aren't you?
He doesn't die or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. When I looked him up, I was like a little shocked about how like attractive he was, I thought. I was gonna like make a whole thing about it, and I was like, this story's too long. I don't need to linger on how cute I think he is. Okay.
He is, though.
He is pretty cute. So the 2 men, they tie up Yoshi. I don't think they hurt her at all. I don't think they're like in it to hurt her. They just want the keys to Katsuishi's house. Or Katsuhisa. So then they go next door and they use the keys to get inside. And this is where Katsuhisa lives with his wife and 3 children that we just saw. This beautiful family. They tie up his wife, Yukiko, and his 8-year-old daughter, who they were both still awake. The 2 other children were sleeping in their rooms and they just left them unharmed. And then they pulled Katsuhisa from the bathtub where he had been when they entered, and they dragged him naked out of the house. And, I know, just to like add insult to everything. And they drove him about 10 miles away to a warehouse in Osaka. And from there, the 2 men called the Glico Director of Human Resources, which, if anyone ever kidnaps me, please do not call my don't call the HR department at my work. They don't know me that well. This person named Fuji Hirotaki, and they tell him, hey, there's a ransom note in this public phone booth. Go find it. And so he does. And the ransom note demands 1 billion yen, which is about 4.5 million US dollars at the time, and 100 kilograms, or about 220 pounds, in gold bars. So, like...
All right. A chunk of change.
Chunk of change. But again, like, probably a multi-million-dollar company, if not multi-billion-dollar company. They said if the police were notified that Katsuhisa would be killed... And the kidnappers claimed to have friends at the police. So they're like, if you contact the police, we'll know because we have a friend there. The following day, March 19th, the kidnappers release a recording of Katsuhisa reading directions for someone at Glico to bring the ransom money to a restaurant. According to one source, the recording was released via a phone call, but I don't know who the phone call was to. Like, I don't know if they called HR again or... but they didn't call police. They just... I don't know. Someone is notified about this. Obviously, they do contact police. They have, like, a Glico representative set to go to the restaurant. Police follow them, like, undercover. So police followed the Glico representative to the restaurant as he was instructed for the drop-off. But he gets to the restaurant and there were no further instructions. And nothing happens. Like, no one shows up for the money. So they just go home.
Wow.
So on March 20th, the following day.
Not very good kidnappers didn't think through that.
I know.
They just got to get them there with the money. Then what?
Yeah. They're like,
we didn't think about
we
that
didn't think that part through. So the following day, the kidnappers at this point have given Katsuhisa
some clothes,
some clothes, yes. They gave him clothes, they let him get dressed, and then they tied him back up again, but they tied him up loosely. And then they just left the warehouse around 10 p.m. 14 hours later, which I can only assume Katsuhisa was like, I am not sure if they're really gone. 14 hours later, around 2:22 on March 21st, Katsuhisa manages to get out of his bindings and leave the warehouse. And he immediately goes to police and reports what's happened. So now I have a picture of... They had pictures of, like, immediately after, but this is a picture from the day after he escapes, and he's talking to reporters. So
he's got that big smile again.
So
he's so precious. Like, yes, he's handsome, but he's also just kind of so adorable with that smile.
So the reason I picked this picture is because I feel like this is a man who thinks, oh, it's over. Like,
oh, that was a funny little...
Yeah, like
I'm okay now. Everything's
fine. They
fine.
didn't pick up the ransom money. What a unfortunate situation, but everything is fine now.
It didn't want to open.
That's okay. There are scissors over beyond the corndle if you needed them.
Now you tell me.
Sorry.
You just like to watch me struggle.
I do. Ooh, thank you.
That was a fun little ASMR.
Do it near the mic. Nice. Hold on, should we do a bite near the mic? Healthy.
Sorry if anyone gets squeamish about food noises.
This counts as a vegetable, right?
I don't know, it's brown. I mean, there are definitely components that were once a vegetable, right?
Sure.
Like, probably some soybean oil in there or something.
There's, thanks.
Yep, there's soybeans.
Is there glycogen? There better be. It's their most well-known
Oh, wait,
snack.
there's a... That's how you open it, apparently.
Oh. I thought you were like, oh, there's a little pouch of glycogen here that we needed to sprinkle on it.
Oyster broth.
Okay, so Katsuhisa is very happy, right?
Well, yeah, he pulled one over on the kidnappers.
Yeah. However, it is very much not over. On April 2nd, a letter shows up at Katsuhisa's house, along with a bottle of eye drops that does not contain eye drops. It contains hydrochloric acid.
Fun.
And the letter reads, in part, because mind you, all of these letters are super long. And so the site that I was using, thankfully shortened a lot of them down for me and just gave me like the important parts translated. The important parts are, Dear Katsuhisa, how dare you break our promise and run away from us? Which I'm like, what promise did he make that he wasn't going to run away?
I think that is one of those lost in translation things. Like, it's a phrase that, you know, when you directly translate it, that's what it says, but that's not really what it means.
Yeah.
I'm sure you came across that a lot in, you know, your Russian studies. Which, by the way, Yozik or Yozik, Y-O-Z-I-K, or Z-I-K, whatever. What does that mean?
Y-O...
Z-I-K.
Oh, I don't know.
Yozik.
I can look it up in my Russian dictionary somewhere. It's up there.
It was in a book. I was reading a book about figure skating, and one of the coaches would refer to one of her skaters as Yozik.
Ooh, we'll look it up after.
So I think it's like a term of endearment of some sort.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up for you.
Sounds good.
Remind me. How dare you break our promise and run away from us? I'm giving you one more chance. It's going to be 10 million yen per person in your family. So for 6 people, it's going to be 6 million yen.
Didn't they want 10 billion
Sorry.
at first?
Yes. I also said that wrong. So for 6 people, it's going to be 60 million.
Okay.
They're not bad at math, I am. At 7 p.m. on the 8th of April, I'll call the number at your house. I'll forgive the 6 of you once I get the money. I'll never do anything to you again.
So what's with the eye drops?
I don't know. Like, to prove that they mean business, I guess. I hope there was something in there that was like, by the way, don't use the eye drops. They're acid. As before, police were like, okay, let's get the money ready. Let's get the handoff ready. So they have everything ready for April 8th at 7 p.m. And again, nothing happens. No phone call. Nothing. So they call it off. But on April 8th, the police receive a letter from the kidnappers.
Who no longer have a... I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a kid.
So this is what that letter says. To the police fools. Are you all stupid? What the hell are you doing with all that manpower? If you're professionals, then come on, catch us. We'll give you a hint since you're so handicapped. There are none of us among Azaki's relatives. There are none of us among the Nishomiya police. There are none of us among the Flood Prevention Corps. The car I bought was gray, and the food I bought was from Daiei. It's a food market.
All right.
If you want more information, ask us for it in the newspaper. After telling you all this, you should be able to catch us. If you can't, then you're just tax leeches. Shall we kidnap the head?
Man.
I know, right? I kind of like that term, though.
They sound like libertarians or something, right?
Shall we kidnap the head of the prefectural police, too?
At this point, just stick the Yakuza on them, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be efficient. I mean, there'd have to be something in it for them.
Well,
but
I mean, with the way the story goes, it wouldn't be a bad idea to use every resource available to you. Even if it is,
the mob.
Slightly illegal one. Okay, so that was April 8th. On April 10th, fire broke out at 2 separate Glico locations. One was started by a cushion soaked in gasoline that destroyed 166 square meters, or approximately 1,786 square feet of the building, which I want to say is like pretty the size of this house. Okay, like a decent chunk.
See, whenever people describe houses or places in square footage, I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds great.
That's why I was trying to give you. I'm like,
no frame of reference in my brain.
I think we're at about 1,700 square feet.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea. Yep. So it's like not a small place, but not like a small area of the building, but not like a huge whatever. The other fire was started by strips of cloth and a plastic container that were used to ignite the inside of a company car in the building's parking garage.
They're so badass.
So both were like clearly arson, but like nothing super serious.
They didn't know what they were doing. They're not professional arsonists, basically.
Obviously. They're professional letter writers.
Police fools.
On April 16th, this one's kind of weird. This is one that I only found in one place. A barrel, so no longer an eye drop bottle, a barrel of hydrochloric acid was allegedly found at the warehouse where Katsuhisa had been held hostage, along with a note addressed to the police. All they said was like a note addressed to the police, but they didn't say what the note said, so I'm like...
I wonder if the acid was like a threat of like, we're gonna dissolve you in here.
Take a drink, because that comes up later.
Oh, snap.
I know. Shocking, right?
I don't know, I'm really good at the whole guessing the future
I know. Maybe you're the letter writer.
You podcast fool. You can't catch me. I'll give you all the clues.
All right. On April 22nd, the corporate auditor of Glico, so we've moved on from HR. This person's name is Kuriko Fujisawa, received a letter. I think this is hilarious because he received a letter and it starts, "Dear Katsuhisa." And I'd be like, damn it. Give him your letters yourself.
Yeah. I don't work in the mailroom.
Okay. "Dear Katsuhisa, I'm proud of you for making a decision. We will call Fuji's house." So remember, Fuji is HR.
Okay.
"We will call Fuji's house at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 24th. Kato," I have no idea who that is. "Kato should wait at the restaurant called Downhill in Kozushima, Toyonaka City." I could say it if I have a second.
Mm-hmm. You're doing great.
Thank you. "Have the money ready there." This time, the letter was signed, "Monster with 21 Faces." Now, this is not just a random name. It is thought that they borrowed their new moniker from a popular detective novel series written by Edgawa Rampo, which, funny enough, is a pen name, which I didn't write down this author's actual name. I probably should have. But he chose Edgawa Rampo because it was a Japanese version of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgawa Rampo.
Maybe that's why I was like, that's really weird sounding, but also familiar, but not something I've ever heard before. Like, I know I've never heard this before, but there's something.
But he has a novel series in which the villain is called either the Phantom or the Monster or whatever with 20 faces. And so these kidnappers or whatever they are added a face.
Kind of like Seattle fans. They're the 13th man or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The 12th man. Whatever it is. I forget.
13th man?
Basically, they're the
extra man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. So, I think, I don't think they did anything about this new letter, and I don't think a phone call was received at all. I think at this point, Glico is like, all right, we're not...
Why are we getting all this money together? We're not taking the money out to dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's what they've been doing. They've been going on dates with the money.
Exactly.
Taking it to a nice restaurant.
Sitting with it.
Sitting for a few hours at a nice restaurant. Man, that money has not put out, has it?
No, it hasn't. They're still getting letters. Only letters.
Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe they just had such a fun time. That's why they keep sending the letters. Keep going on dates.
Maybe they're having sex with the money. Who knows?
Yeah, people do weird stuff with money.
People have fetishes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not here to kink shame, but, like, money's dirty, so, like, take a shower after, I guess.
Yeah, use protection.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay, on May 10th, the media began receiving letters from the monster. One of them read, in part, "To the poor policeman. Glico is annoying. So I injected 2 with 0.05 grams of hydrogen cyanide in the stores in the area between Nagoya and Okayama. It's not enough to kill, but the target will be hospitalized. After eating Glico, let's go to the hospital. Eat Glico and end up in the grave. Signed, the monster with 21 faces."
Well, that's a way to cause mass hysteria.
Yeah, that's a jump from where we've been.
I mean, this is actually causing problems now. Mm-hmm. Definitely kidnapping a man from the bathtub and holding him captive is definitely a big bad.
Yeah.
But then once he, got out and got home, sure, they sent threatening letters and threatening eye drops. But all in all, they weren't causing any other harm, just some, threatening letters demanding ransom and everything. Right. But no, this is another causing harm because people are going to freak out for like, oh, we have Glico items at our house that we just bought yesterday, and like, are we going to be the next? There's going to be probably people flooding hospitals. Like,
well, like
I had a Glico thingy for breakfast and I must be dying. Like, no, you have heartburn, you're fine.
Well, I remember the Halloween candy episode with the Tylenol murders where people were calling and they were like, I took a Tylenol, and they had to be like, if you had taken a poison Tylenol, you would be dead. You wouldn't have time to call us and tell us. Which I think it's interesting that they said, oh, it's not enough to kill someone. It would just make them very sick. I don't know that cyanide works that way, but I'm not a cyanide expert.
Well, I mean, cyanide is in almonds. No, wait. Arson. No, cyanide is in almonds, not arsenic.
Katie, we just ate almonds.
Yeah, we did. But basically, there's the amount that is in the almonds. Like,
I think it's arson. Wait. I think it is cyanide because it smells like almonds, right? And some people can smell it and some people can't. Yeah. Where's your ding-a-ling husband when we need him?
I just looked it up, and bitter almonds are those that naturally contain a toxin that your body breaks down into cyanide.
Oh, so our bodies are making the cyanide as we speak.
Anyway, almonds, cyanide, yes. But to have any kind of negative impacts, like cyanide actual impacts, the sheer volume of almonds that you would have to eat is basically impossible.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's no way you can eat that many almonds. You'd be sick for other reasons first before the cyanide got you.
Kind of like how there's not enough pot that you can smoke that'll have an effect on your glaucoma. That one's actually true, people. You can stave
it off. You can't treat it, right? You can just slow the progression of it.
No, it's not. It doesn't.
I don't know. I haven't done any research into marijuana and glaucoma.
It doesn't help your pressures at all.
It's just a funny.
If your friend tells you that pot is for their glaucoma, it's not. It's not. So the media received this letter, and so they decided to share this information with the public. So stores started pulling Glico products. Citizens were urged to return any products that they had purchased. There are actually pictures of big signs that they put up in stores that were like essentially saying, you know, we're sorry for the inconvenience, but we can't sell you these products and whatever. So Katowice was forced to make the decision to pull products from the shelf, eventually losing the equivalent of $21 million. And stock prices, obviously...
Way more than the ransom.
Yeah. Stock prices for Glico plummeted. Which, I mean, we kind of know in the end, like, they're fine. We're eating their products now. Like, they don't go under.
It's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending, sort of.
This sounds kind of like a weird corporate espionage thing. Like,
yeah,
they threaten the CEO just enough to, like, make things sound serious, and then they put out to the media. Like, so they, you know, there probably has been some media reports about the kidnapping, the ransom demands and everything. So now when they send out to the media this... The products are poisoned. There's people are going to take it seriously. There's going to be this mass hysteria. People are going to avoid this company like the plague. They're going to go buy from... What's this one? Morinaga.
Yep, Morinaga.
They're going to go buy high chews instead of Pocky.
Wow.
Do we take another drink?
You can, if you would like.
I don't have any.
Save it, because we've got... We still have to try the high chews later.
Yeah, and they might suck.
They might.
Actually, I've had them before, but it's been a long time. I can't remember if they're good or not.
There's one specific one that we'll mention in here. I did look for it. It also comes in a can, which sounded really cool. And I'm sure I could have found it if I went to an actual Asian market, but I...
Good thing we have like 4 of those
here
in
I know.
Town.
And if I'd gotten into town earlier, I probably could have. But I wussed out and I went to World Market with my sister and I looked at pillows too. And I almost bought some. They had velvet pillows for like $10. But I thought Jared could be mad at me if I bought more throw pillows. On May 20th, Nagaoka Perfumery, which was a supplier of flavorings for Glico, received a letter from the monster. And it read this: "Give this to the president or one of the executives at Glico." Which again, I'd be like,
deliver your own damn letters.
Yeah, not your carrier pigeon. If you don't do as we say, you are going to face the same situation as Glico did. We could easily make your company vanish just using 100 sticks of dynamite. And then inside that envelope, with that letter, was another envelope addressed to Katsuhisa.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And
Poor
that
Katsuhisa at this point.
I know. And that letter said, "Dear dummies at Glico, are you guys really businessmen? Businessmen don't usually lose money like that. I have an abundance of sodium prussiate." Is that how you say that word?
Sure.
Okay, sure.
Close enough.
"For right before next Valentine's Day, I'll use cyanide instead." And then on May 31st, another letter was received at the perfumery, which read, "Dear Katsuhisa." Again, he doesn't work there. "Prepare 300 million yen like before." Okay, this one's very specific, so pay attention.
Okay.
"On June 2nd at 8:30 p.m., have 2 of your employees over the age of 45 wear a white jacket and white pants, and have them drive a white Corolla to the barbecue restaurant." Which, I'm sorry, that's just... You don't wear white to a barbecue restaurant. That is just asking for trouble.
Yep.
"To the barbecue restaurant."
I don't wear white in general because that's asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I'm a dirt magnet. I don't know how I do it, but I do.
Well, wearing white is how you do it. Barbecue restaurant called Daidamon in Ward 1, Torikanaka, Setsu City. Have one of them wait inside the restaurant and have the other one wait in the car with the money. The one inside the restaurant should go by the name Nakamura from Toshuku. Be in the restaurant by 8 p.m. Which, I'm sorry, at the beginning he said 8:30. So what time should we be there? I'm already confused.
Talk about overcorrecting, too. They didn't just learn from their first couple of mistakes of not giving enough information about
I know, they're like, too much.
All right, we didn't give enough. We're going to give way more than necessary.
Way too much.
And conflicting info.
Okay. "I will contact Negawaka Perfumery in Doshamachi. Once I call you at 8:30, answer saying, 'I am Katsuhisa from Negawaki Perfumery.' Then I will tell you where the letter is. Both Katsuhisa and Nakamura should listen to my directions and follow them carefully. If you follow my directions, I won't do anything to you. Nakamura should sit as close to the window as possible."
Well, that makes me very nervous.
I know.
They're like, "Nope, I'll do all this, but I'm not sitting next to a window where you've got a clear shot of me."
Yeah. So, the white Corolla shows up at this barbecue joint.
With the 2 40-plus-year-old
45 plus.
45-plus-year-old employees in their white pants and their white jackets.
Yes. And they've got the money. And they also have 30 undercover members of the Osaka Special Crimes Squad. There is a kill switch in the trunk of the Corolla. And there is also an undercover agent in the trunk. Okay, this is the plan. Tell me if this makes sense to you, because it did not make any sense to me.
All right.
Okay. The plan is, when the monster obviously steals the car, which to me it was not obvious he was going to be stealing the car, but okay.
I mean, is it really stealing at this point? They kind of delivered it to him.
I don't know. The kill switch will be activated. The car will then be stopped. The driver will be arrested and then replaced with an undercover agent who will extract the intended destination from the driver. And then this undercover agent will drive an identical Corolla, not the ones filled with
the other
money,
one got killed,
to the location and arrest the rest of the gang.
I mean, yeah. I see what their point is, but...
Isn't there an easier way to do it? Couldn't we just put a tracker on the Corolla? Couldn't we just, like, put that blue dye on the money?
Maybe not. I mean, the blue dye, sure, but tracker, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. It just seems... Okay, well, to no one's surprise, this doesn't go as planned. Okay, so despite the note saying that they would be there 8:30, nothing happened until 8:45.
At least something happened.
I know. So a young man comes into the restaurant and sits down next to the Glico employee. They exchange several notes, and then the man took the car keys. He goes out to the Corolla, forces the second employee out, and then drives away. So, kill switch is activated. Mm-hmm. Car stops. They arrest the driver, but it turns out the driver is a 22-year-old kid who was carjacked by the monster. And also the monster kidnapped his 18-year-old girlfriend and forced this guy to pick up the money for them. So investigators are like, okay, well, just tell us where you were supposed to go. So a undercover guy gets, I think, still in the Corolla. They have to like jump it, or I don't know what's happening. Drive to the destination, encounter a suspicious Toyota along the way, end up in a high-speed chase with it, lose it in traffic, get to the destination, and then, surprise, no one shows up. So,
So what happens to the 18-year-old girlfriend?
They let her go already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they, held her for a little bit and then let her go, I guess, when he agreed to do I don't know. These are, the most unorganized criminals.
And very ineffective kidnappers. It's like they just, they don't really want to have somebody captive.
Is why this is a very frustrating story to write. Okay, police search more than 800,000 homes, interview citizens, and gather information, and they got nowhere. Mm-hmm. And then, on June 26th, 3 newspapers received a letter from the monster. This is an abbreviated version of that letter.
Is it actually addressed to the media this time, or is it addressed to our buddy?
It's addressed to our fans throughout Japan. We're satisfied. The president of Glico has already gone around with his head hanging down long enough. We would like to forgive him. In our group, there's a 4-year-old kid. Every day he cries for Glico. We also haven't eaten it for a long time, and we used to eat it all the time. It's a drag to make a kid cry because he's deprived of the candy he loves. So we're also really upset. It would be great if we could forgive Glico so the supermarkets could sell their products again. They also say some stuff about how they're going to take a break and go to Europe for a little bit.
Terrorize.
Yeah.
What was it? Come on. Brain. Kinder chocolates.
Oh! Yeah.
Like Kinder eggs.
Uh-huh.
Right?
What? Yeah?
I was just trying to think of...
Who makes them, or just the name of
the chocolate company, the candy company.
They're gonna... Cadbury eggs? Kinder eggs?
They can go terrorize Cadbury. That's another one. That'll work.
Sure.
I'm so tired.
That letter was signed Monster with 21 Faces, and then they had a P.S. I will be back next year in January. And just like that...
yeah, they had something in the books for next Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. And just like that, Katsuhisa and Glico were off the hook. They're finally able to, breathe a sigh of relief. Everyone's like, okay, this is all over. This is great.
Just crazy people being crazy.
Except I've got another bag of candy sitting there. So
and we still got to get to next January.
Well, they didn't wait till January. In June.
So I guess things didn't go well in Europe.
Yeah, things didn't go well in Europe. So in June 28th, a voice recording is released. And again, this is one of those situations maybe it was a phone call. I don't know who got the phone call. Someone got a phone call, and there's a voice recording. And this was directed to Morade Food, which was another large Japanese food company, and also to police. And in it, it said that they would find an envelope taped to the back of a bus stop at 8:16 p.m., which they did.
Did they specify the bus stop at least?
Yes,
okay.
they did.
Well, I mean, you never know with these people.
This is true. And they forgot that small detail.
They were big on details at first until they were overzealous with details.
This is true. And so they find the envelope, and the letter inside reads, in part, to Yamada, which we'll get to who that is. Take the 819 Kyoto...
Sounds like your mama.
To your mama. Take the 819 Kyoto-bound train that stops at every station. Get on the second car from the back and sit on the left side, marked with a circle. Either circle is fine. If the seats in the circled area are not available, say that you feel sick and have someone give up their seat. That's not how that works, but okay. At least in my experience. Maybe it's different in Japan, but if other seats are available. Anyways. Okay. Sit on the side with the tracks and open the window so that you can throw out the bag. Oh, they also said at some point, have a bag full of money. Once you see the 1 meter square white flag, throw the bag out the window. Go to Kyoto, and if there is no flag, then do it again. So they demanded 50 million yen, which is $210,000. And then they said they would promise to stop harassing them if they did this. So obviously an undercover agent does the thing. And then there's like a ton of other undercover agents. So I picture like an SVU sting operation.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've never seen an episode of Law & Order though, right?
Okay, everyone else listening, picture an SVU sting operation where the one person's doing the thing and then every other character is just in street clothes and they're like touching their ear like
I've
nonchalantly.
seen other shows where they do sting
but
operations.
This was the one I'm talking about. Okay, so they notice several suspicious passengers on the train, but eventually they zero in on one man. And they call this man the fox-eyed man.
Okay.
I'm going to describe him first, and I'm going to show you this picture, and you can tell me if you think this is a good description or not. I don't know. 35 to 45 years old. Between 175 to 178 centimeters, which is about 5'9". Thin lips and thin eyebrows. Well-built, silver-rimmed glasses. Short, permed hair. Wearing a gray suit, carrying a black umbrella and a folded newspaper. And then a, quote, silent gaze, hunting with eyes like those of a fox. That's why they called him the fox-eyed man. Not for any other reason.
Not because his eye shape resembled
foxes.
All right.
This is the fox-eyed man.
Okay.
I don't... The permed hair does not look permed to me. Does it? No.
It doesn't. But then again, like it's a black and white sketch drawing, so there's not a lot of like definition in the hairstyle. It's more of like an outline than anything in the fill-in. He reminds me, did you ever watch the show Heroes?
No.
There's a Japanese character and that's who he looks like to me.
He just looks like a very unhappy man with slightly wavy hair.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just... Not permed hair. I don't know. I was really upset when I learned that fox-eyed just meant, like, suspiciously looking around. So, undercover officers were not allowed to arrest him, even though they were like, he looks really suspicious.
Well, yeah, they need cause.
Yeah. And although he followed one of the officers at every station, he never actually picked up the money. So he just got away. And so they made this sketch of him, and that was it. On September 12th, a letter arrived at Morinaga Dairy.
Woo!
Yay! We finally got to it.
Can I open?
Yes. We are.
It might take me a minute.
That's okay. We'll be sampling High Chews, which are an immensely fruity, intensely chewy candy made by Morinaga.
Every chew brings flavor to life.
And they have, what, 3 different flavors? 4?
Grape, green apple, and strawberry. Obviously, we have to try one of each.
Oh, I want to try strawberry.
Okay. Here's strawberry.
Thank you.
I'll try grape.
Okay. Ooh, these don't look like I thought they would. You gonna bite it, or should I put the whole thing in my mouth?
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Is it bringing flavor to your life?
It's like a Starburst. Probably not the best thing for me to eat. When I finish this. These are good.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm glad I bought these.
Even the grape flavor is pretty good. Because, you know, everything grape is gross.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
Yum. Alright, well, everyone just sorry about this. I'm not going to pause for
Power through it.
power through. Okay.
The letter was sent to Dairy.
A letter was sent to Morinaga. So, with the letter was sent 3 sodium hypochlorite tablets, totaling 30 grams, and 3 poisoned Morinaga products. The letter, I did not post the letter because it was super long. I summarized. Referenced the Glico case and how much money they had lost. God, it's sticking to my teeth.
It's making me drool a lot. I choked on my drool.
They're good, though.
Mm-hmm. They last for a while, too.
I know.
They're better than a Starburst. Those are, they're over quick.
Man, better than a Laffy Taffy.
It's just gift that keeps on giving.
It also explained how they had poisoned the candy with potassium cyanide. It suggested feeding it to their pet to see if it worked, which...
Rude.
Yeah, didn't love that. It said that they would be poisoning 50 of their products if they didn't give them what they asked for. Threatened to abduct the chairman and president of the company and put them in baths with hydrochloric acid to kill them. Which we don't condone.
No, we're
clear.
celebrating me calling it.
Yeah. If you just came in at that point, to be clear. It also told them to put an ad in the paper for a truck driver and detailed plans to meet at a restaurant to pick up 10,000 yen in old/used bills. Then they set the pickup/drop-off as instructed. Or sorry, the Morinaga people set up the pickup/drop-off as instructed, but
nobody showed up.
No one showed up. Okay, then on October 7th, a man in his 20s or 30s entered the Family Mart store in Nishinomiya. He was about 170 centimeters tall, which is about 5'7", muscular physique, metal-framed glasses, and permed hair underneath a baseball cap. No mention whether he had foxy eyes or not. The security cameras recorded him acting suspiciously. He appeared to be...
Foxy.
Foxy. He appeared to be scoping out the store for cameras, which there were 4 of them. And then he placed an object on the shelf in the candy section. And then he purchased a magazine and left. The item that he had left on the shelf was a can of fruit drops. That's what I was trying to find. Which is a hard candy made by Morinaga. I'm glad we went with the high chews, because I don't like hard candies that much.
Yeah,
not a fan.
They're just okay.
Yeah. When inspected, it was found that this can of fruit drops contained 0.18 grams of sodium cyanide. A single piece of candy had enough cyanide in it to kill almost 15 people. But taped to the can was a piece of paper that read, "This has poison in it. If you eat it, you will die." Signed, Monster with 21 Faces. Stores in 3 other cities across the country found poisoned Morinaga products on their shelves, and they were all identified by notes left by the monster.
It's weird. They weren't actually trying to poison people, is the thing.
But
clearly, they're going after the company, not poisoning people.
Yeah. I don't even know. Police launched an extensive investigation into the poisoned candy. Also, at this point, letters are being sent to multiple food companies, all asking for money.
Is it copycat, you think? Or was it more... the monster going after 21 companies.
It's all the monster because he is never collecting the money. Mm-hmm. So, like, every time he asks for a ransom and they try to comply, because the police are trying to cooperate, every time they set up a pickup, he never shows up. He never, or they, whatever, whoever they are, they don't seem to care about the actual money so much as they care about harassing.
And just causing problems.
Yeah,
chaos.
just causing chaos. The police are just, like, at their wits' end. Mm-hmm. On August 7th of 1985, after, hours and hours of investigation and getting nowhere, all of that finally got to the Shoji, or the head of Shiga, the head of the Shiga Prefecture Police, whose name was Shoji Yamamoto, and he died by self-immolation in his backyard. Which, if you don't know, self-immolation is setting yourself on fire. 5 days later...
That is a dramatic way to go.
I know. Not...
And painful, too, of all the ways.
I know. 5 days later, the monster sent one final letter to the press. This is what it said. Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture Police died. How stupid of him. Which, we're not going to go there. We've got no friends or secret hiding place in Shiga. It's Yoshino or Shikata who should have died. I don't know who those people are. What have they been doing for as long as 1 year and 5 months? Don't let bad guys like us get away with it. There are many more fools who want to copy us. No, career Yamamoto died like a man. So we decided to give our condolences. We decided to forget about torturing food-making companies. If anyone blackmails any of the food-making companies, it's not us, but someone copying us. We are bad guys. That means we've got more to do. We've got more to do other than bullying companies. It's fun to lead a bad man's life. Signed, Monster with 21 Faces.
Weird.
And that was the last anyone heard of the Monster with 21 Faces. The case has never been solved. No one was injured.
They never found the fox-eyed man again.
They never found the fox-eyed man. No one, thankfully, was, injured, except, obviously, for Shoji Yamamoto, unfortunately. And the statute of limitations on all of the crimes has expired. So even if someone were to
come forward now,
they couldn't be charged with kidnapping or endangering the public or anything like that.
Wild.
But that is the story of the Glico Morinaga case. It was as infuriating to read as it was to tell. So that's what everyone gets for me trying to give you something that didn't have to do with a bunch of people dying, which is what you're getting next week. Or at least, like a murder. Someone's getting murdered next week.
There's gore coming.
Yeah. Sorry. Those are just so much easier to research.
Well, I'm going to try my best to research and have another episode for us soon, too.
We'll both work hard and try to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. But in the meantime, I am exhausted. I've got the Jimmy legs. I
can
dying.
tell.
I'm just... They can't stay.
Well, tell them on our socials real quick.
If you want to see pictures of this adorable family and this adorable man's smile.
And the fox-eyed man.
And the fox-eyed man.
And the candy that we ate.
You can check out our Facebook and Instagram at The Tales We Tell Podcast. If you want to see stuff but don't do the social media, you can go to our website, thetaleswetellpodcast.com. And if you want to support us and get yourself some sweet, sweet swag, Christmas is just around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to Redbubble and search The Tales We Tell. Or if you want to support us and you don't need the stuff, but you'd like some bonus content, some stickers, and some love notes, you can become a patron at patreon.com. Search The Tales We Tell. Okay, bye. I love you. I'm out of here. I'm going to bed. Night-night.
Bye.
Bye.